June 5th, 2 p.m. Rain. I'm out here just checking on things to see how things are doing. Looks like we had a little wind. First thing I noticed when I walked out to my corn patch. Oh, it's two different pieces of wood. Okay, two different pieces of wood fell. Yeah, I walked out here, had a little wood laying on my newly planted Kentucky Dreamers that I planted the other day. Didn't hurt anything though because they haven't come up yet. I do notice I got one stalk of corn that's to the side. I'm just going to grab my shovel and straighten that back up. I see another one. I didn't see that one when I walked over here. Let me do that one. That little stalk sideways, but it was actually like that before the storm. I don't know if one of the dogs got at it or what, but it's actually, the roots are still in the ground, so I'm just going to leave it right now. It's about 7:25. I just kind of walked out here to check on things. The wind didn't get bad. It was actually the best kind of rain. It was just steady, but it didn't ever get crazy or anything. Oh, I loved it. I just kept saying, oh, this is what my plants need. This is what my plants need. So other than that little corn here and there, this looks good. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to drink it up. They're drinking it up. Let me walk over here to my first garden bed, which still has a sprinkler by it because up until yesterday I had to water. Okay, my whippoorwill cowpeas look wonderful. Of course, all my limas are hooked to the string, so they're fine. I'm just kind of walking around here and looking at everything to make sure no tomatoes got knocked cattywampus. I tell you what, well, before I do that, let me look at this. Here's my corn. Good, it's got a little water sitting in the rows, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And maybe tomorrow afternoon, I'm gonna kind of take advantage of this unless it storms again. And I'm gonna put some fertilizer down the edge, right along the base of all of these plants. And then I'm gonna go ahead and by that point, some of the soil will have dried up a little bit. And I'm just gonna pull it against the base and go ahead and fertilize and try to get this corn kicking. It's doing good. Yeah, here's a tomato I was worried about. And sure enough, it's knocked sideways a little bit. This one here, I had saw the other day that I needed to stake it. And you know how you see something and you go, okay, I'm gonna go get a stake. And then you find something else to do and you never come back with that stake. But that's what's going on now. So I never came back with the stake, and as soon as it rained today, I said, uh-oh, I better go check that tomato. These are all my melons. Give you a little bit closer look than I did the other day. But oh, they're starting to shape up. They still have a little green tinting underneath. They'll kind of all turn completely buff. And then their stem doesn't look like it's ready to separate yet. So these aren't ready, but man, I just love that they're getting close. Over here in my azalea branch bed, I actually pulled down the Sicilian black swamp bean vines, and I pulled down the Aunt Mary's meat vines. So there's nothing down here right now, and nothing at the other end. This is the Spangler beans, which are actually still putting off. Plus, I've got a few of those on there that I'm saving for seeds, and they haven't gotten finished yet. So I'm leaving these. But at the base of them, all around the bottom of all of these poles, I planted at least 5 or 6 rattlesnake pole beans all around the base of this. And I had an idea. My mind's always working, and when you put me inside because it's raining, then my mind really goes crazy. And what I think I'm gonna do, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of looking at things to make sure nothing's falling over. Tomatoes look good. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back with a mixture of other pole beans, and I'm gonna throw them up in here too. I'm not going to wait any longer to get started on my landrace gardening. I'm going to go ahead and do some mixing up of seeds and putting some seeds out and just seeing what happens. I don't even care. You want them to cross, you want them to show who's the survival of the fittest, and I'm wanting to know now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that here. And then in the corn patch that we were just at, I told you I was putting Texas 40 cream peas where my striped bush beans were. But I believe what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a lot of different type of dried bush beans, and duck below this wire. And I'm going to plant a hodgepodge of dried beans out there. I have a few Ireland Creek Annies. I have a few Jacob's Cattle. And I'm just going to put them out there and see what happens. I'm going to see which dried beans hang in there and which ones don't. Everything over here should be okay because this is all on the ground, so that should be fine. And then all of my pole beans are doing, they look fine. The weather didn't hurt them. These blue lakes just keep putting off and putting off and putting off. Now I'm not getting buckets. I'm getting little quart Ziplocs full, but they don't stop. I'll think they're about done, and the next day I'll walk out and there's 2 handfuls of beans ready to pick. My ideal markets, on the other hand, have stopped. Unless you see something I don't see right now, but they have stopped. And so I think they're about ready to peter out. But what I was thinking also with those is instead of pulling them out of the ground, I'll just kind of leave them. They may get some blooms. Matter of fact, look right there. Look right there, little blooms. They might get some blooms and want to go at it again, and that's okay. But I was thinking I might come all along this row, and whatever beans I mix up over there on my azalea branches, I might just mix the same beans and or have extras of them, and come over here and plant all along here with some crazy mixed up pole beans. And we're just gonna see what happens. I have no problem with doing that. I love buying seeds and I love having seeds and looking at them, and me, I've got them on a spreadsheet and I keep up with all my inventory. But I think this is an exciting new way to garden with the landrace gardening. Look at this tomato, how tall it's getting. It's all the way up there. It's getting tall. That's a Mamie Brown's pink. But with the landrace gardening, I hope I did a somewhat decent job of explaining the other day how it works and everything. But for sustainability and for coming up with varieties that just love where you live and love your soil, that's Italian heirloom tomatoes. A whole bunch of them there, 4 of them together. But finding things that love your soil and that just simply want to grow where you live, I don't really see an answer better than landrace gardening. And if you think about it, I've been thinking about this because I know a lot of people grow old hand-me-down seeds from generations and generations. Look at all the beautiful red flowers on my scarlet runner beans, and they are starting to put off some beans. So that's what I've been waiting on. These have kind of been attacked a little bit by, let me just show you, like, see those leaves? To me, that's like grasshoppers. I know there's been worms on here and everything else, but that's okay. They're gonna make it or they're not. I can't baby huge vines of scarlet runner beans. They've been fertilized, they're weeded. There's really not that many weeds down there with them. They're gonna make it or they're not. But what I was saying was, a lot of these old, we call them heirloom seeds, but really what they are they're seeds that have been grown in areas of the country for maybe generation after generation after generation. So while we just still refer to them as an old heirloom seed, what they really are a landrace seed. If you have a pole bean, bush bean, Look at all those cowpeas coming up. That's Texas 40 cream peas. All those little light green things, that's them coming up. They're about 3 inches tall and they're doing good. But what you really have, if you have a family heirloom of pole beans, bush beans, just anything like that, you have a landrace seed. You just may not know it. That's what that is. That is a seed that has been grown in an area for many, many years, and that seed has adapted to that climate and to that region, and it likes it there. This is my blue jade corn, and it's doing really, really good. I'm very proud of it. But basically, that's my point. You have a landrace seed. You have a landrace seed. You have a seed that loves growing where you live, and that's why you're having such good luck growing it. If it's a seed your mama or your papa handed down to you, it's not just an heirloom seed. It's a landrace seed, because I can guarantee you it didn't just start that way from a store and they bought it and grew it forever and then gave it to you. It was probably handed down to them, saved from seeds from somebody, some neighbor or somebody, and eventually you got some. You've saved some. You make sure you save some because you want to keep that heirloom going. And what you have is a landrace seed. That's what you have. And isn't that exciting? Because if you have that, if you were lucky enough to have been given the responsibility of keeping an heirloom seed going that your family has loved and enjoyed for generations, you are ahead of the game. There's not going to be any selecting really. You already have that seed that loves where you grow. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that you cherish it. And I know people that have been given seeds like that and that have grown them and tasted them and have been brought into that circle of trust that, hey, I gave my nephew some seeds and he's got them growing now and he's saving them. My daughter, she now grows them for her family and she saves them. When you've been brought into that circle of trust, you've got a landrace seed and you need to take care of it. And you need to be excited about it and try to grow as many row feet of it as you can every year and pass it on. You can still take that seed and you can still throw it in with all kind of other stuff and see what the survival of the fittest is going to be. But I can already tell you that if that seed is already thriving at your house, the work's really been done. And you can kind of chillax and just have some pride. Just swell up with pride because you've got a landrace seed. I just wanted to take you on a little walk with me as I checked in after this rain. I'm doing good. I've never been so excited in my life for rain, except maybe last year. I would have come out sooner, but after it quit raining, for about an hour it lightened. That's how humid it was here. That is how it was. Just, we had no rain for so long that it's like the earth was just ready for this electrical storm. And so it just kept popping and popping. And I told my husband, I said, I'm not going to be able to go outside. It's going to get dark before I can go see anything. But I went ahead and made my supper and I thought, well, that's it. And then I realized after making the supper, about an hour, I wasn't hearing any thunder. So I thought I would come out and just share this evening with y'all and walk around and talk. I hope that you've been given some kind of a gift of a seed that you can pass on to your kids. I would love to know if you have a seed, what type is it? What if it has a name? What does your family call it? Do you try every year to make double sure you save those seeds? And maybe who you're going to pass it on to. who's showing an interest in growing those seeds that you can pass it on to. It's so fun and so exciting, and I'd love to hear about it from you. I can tell you what I'm going to be doing in about a week. I'm going to be picking black-eyed peas. Life is good, y'all. You have a great day. This is Lainey from Hilltop Home Place. Bye-bye.